Hey guys, in this video we'll cover problem number 11, 12 and 13. Let's start off with problem number 11. Mr. Subhash carried on the business of purchase and sale of agricultural commodities like paddy, wheat, etc. He borrowed loans from Punjab State Financial Corporations and State Bank of India and has not paid interest as detailed hereunder. Okay, so he has taken a loan from these two banks and he has not paid interest. The interest is mentioned here. Interest which is due to be paid to Punjab State Financial Corporation for the previous years 2016, 17, 17, 18 and 18, 19 is 36 lakhs, and interest that is due to State Bank of India is 72 lakhs. So this interest cumulates to 1 crore 8 lakhs. Both Punjab State Financial Corporation and State Bank of India, while restructuring the loan facilities of Mr. Subhash during financial year 1920, they have converted the above interest arrears as loan payable in 36 installments. Okay, now during the year ended 31/3/2020, Subhash paid six installments to Punjab State Financial Corporation and 5 installments to State Bank of India. Subhash claimed the entire amount of 1 crore 8 lakhs as an expenditure while computing the income from business of purchase and sale of agricultural commodities for the financial year 2019-20. Discuss whether his claim is valid. Now here you have to apply section 43B. What section 43B is telling you? 43B clearly states that certain payments are only permitted on the basis of certain deductions are only permitted on the basis of payment before the due date of filing the return. Here the main component of is interest. 43B clearly states that any interest which is payable to a bank or a public financial institution cannot be claimed as a deduction only without it being paid. Like only if you pay it, you can claim a deduction under PGBP. Else you cannot claim deduction. So here, what is the amount that you can claim as deduction? He has paid 6 installments to Punjab State Financial Corporation and also 5 installments to State Bank of India. So these are the only 2 installments that you can claim. So let's see the answer. As per section 43B, interest on loan from scheduled bank or public financial institution is allowed only if it is paid before the due date or on the due date of return of income. Okay, before you file the return. Otherwise, it will be allowed in the year of actual payment. So here, conversion of interest into loan is not treated as actual payment. Okay, so here he has just considered the conversion of interest into loan as payment and he has claimed entire thing, which is not correct. So therefore, the payment of 16 lakhs during financial year 2019-20 details hereunder will be allowed as deduction while computing the business income of Mr. Subhash. How did he arrive at 16 lakhs? We'll look into that. Now he has told you clearly that they have been converted into loans repayable in 36 installments. So what did Subhash do here? He has repaid 6 installments to Punjab State Financial Corporation and 5 installments to State Bank of India. So amount which is paid to Punjab State Financial Corporation, it is 36 lakhs into 6 by 36. Okay, it's as simple. It's a simple mathematics. For 36 months, if it is 36 lakhs, for 36 installments, if it is 36 lakhs, for 6 installments, how much? You just have to cross multiply and you'll arrive at 6 lakhs. And similarly, you have to calculate for State Bank of India. So the total amount that you arrive at is 16 lakhs. So only 16 lakhs is deductible and the remaining amount will only be deductible as and when it is paid in the subsequent years. That's it. So this is all about question 11. Now let's look into question number 12. Yeah, Mono Limited incurred an expenditure amounting to rupees 30,000. I think this is 3 lakhs. Just a second. Yeah, 3 lakhs in connection with the rights issues, and then rupees 2 lakhs in connection with the issue of bonus shares for the year ended 31/3/2020. The company seeks your opinion in the matter of eligibility for deduction of expenditure incurred from its business profits for the assessment year 2020-21. And what is the solution here? Okay, before we go forward for the solution, I'll just tell you, whenever you increase your share capital, that is, there is an inflow of capital, then the expenditure that you are incurring is capital expenditure. Whenever you are converting your existing funds into capital, existing profits or existing reserves, there is no actual increase, there is no elevation, like there's no increase in the strength of the company. In that particular case, that particular expenditure which is incurred, which does not actually increase the capital, is treated as revenue expenditure. So this sum is similar to that. Now what the solution says, the Supreme Court has in Brook Bond India Limited held that the expenditure incurred by a company in connection with the issue of shares with a view to increase its share capital is directly related to the expansion of its capital base, and therefore it constitutes capital expenditure. So he's telling you that whenever, example, you go in for a rights issue, you give the existing shareholders, you give them the rights to acquire new shares, and when they acquire new shares by utilizing their rights, the capital of the company, that is the overall worth of the company, also will increase. The overall capital will be increased. That is, there will be new funds that will be flowing into the company. So any expenditure that is incurred for bringing in for going in for a rights issue, that is treated as a capital expenditure. But then, okay, he has further explained a little more. The issue of rights shares results in expansion of the capital base of Mono Limited. Hence, expenditure of 3 lakhs incurred by the company in connection with the rights issue is a capital expenditure, is not allowable as a business expenditure. Obviously, because only revenue expenditure is permitted as business expenditure. Capital expenditure is not permitted. It will be capitalized. On the other hand, bonus shares. Now, when you issue bonus shares, you are not bringing in fresh capital. You are only converting your reserves. You are just giving them bonus shares to the existing shareholders. So either your reserves will be converted and they will be pushed into capital. So whatever you incur to issue your bonus shares, that will be treated as revenue expenditure. So here, on the other hand, the bonus shares does not result in inflow of fresh funds or increase in capital employed. It is merely capitalization of reserves. The total funds available with the company and its capital structure will remain the same on issue of bonus shares. The Supreme Court in Commissioner of Income Tax versus General Insurance Corporation considered the effect of issue of bonus shares and ruled that expenditure incurred in connection with the issue of bonus shares was allowable as a revenue expenditure. Hence, the expenditure amounting to 2 lakhs incurred in connection with the issue of bonus shares is deductible from business profits for the assessment year 2021. Because this is a revenue expenditure, it is simple. It is only trying to differentiate between capital and revenue, and it's telling you what kind of issue is a capital expenditure and what will be treated as a revenue expenditure. This sum is pretty simple. Now let's go to question number 13, which has a decent number of adjustments. Okay, let's go through. Superb Private Limited is engaged in the manufacture and sale of ceramic tiles. The new profit of the company as per its profit and loss account for the year ended 31/3/2020 is 150 lakhs after debiting or crediting the following items. So he's telling you it is engaged in the manufacture and sale of ceramic tiles. Okay, it's a manufacturing company. The first thing is when you consider depreciation, here additional depreciation also will come into picture because it is in the industry of manufacturing. And then what is he telling you? He's telling you that after debiting and crediting the below mentioned items, its profit is 150 lakhs. Now let's discuss point by point. One-time license fee of rupees 20 lakhs paid to People Limited, an Indian company, for obtaining franchise on 1/6/2019. So one-time license fee, this is an intangible asset and it cannot be treated as a revenue expenditure. You can rather claim a depreciation on this, and only that depreciation part you can reduce it from your profit, but this amount will be added back to your profit. So this cannot be, this is an asset, intangible asset. So that will be added back. Now the second point, rupees 29,000 paid to A&N Company, a goods transport operator, in cash on 31/1/2020 for carrying company's products to warehouse. Now basically any amount over and above 10,000 paid in cash on a single day to a single person, it will be disallowed. But here it is 29,000 paid to goods transport operator. So that limit of 10,000 is 35,000 when it comes to goods transport operator. So no further adjustment is required here. It is appropriate and he can claim deduction as well. Now rent of rupees 6 lakhs received from letting out a part of its office premises. Municipal tax in respect of the said part of the building is 15,000 remains unpaid due to court litigation. Now the point is whether this will be considered under PGBP. Definitely no, because it is covered under house property. This income is being generated as a result of letting out a part of the office. That is, it is considered under house property. So this particular rent will be added back. Okay, this will be added back. Actually, this will be reduced because you have already considered this as an income. This will not be considered as your income. This will be reduced. And coming to municipal tax in respect of the said part of the building of 15,000 remains due. So any amount which is due, basically this will be added back because you cannot even consider this under PGBP. This is something to do with house property. So just add it back. Then coming to the next point, rupees 2 lakhs being contribution to a university approved and notified. This will be dealt with separately. Okay, so you just have to add it back. An amount, this 2 lakhs will be added back. However, any contribution which is made to a university approved and it is notified under section 35 subsection 1 subclause 2, you will get an enhanced deduction of 150%. So you will get a deduction of almost 3 lakhs. You have contributed 2 lakhs, but you will get a deduction of 3 lakhs because it is to a approved university. And then we'll look at each of these points in the problem when we solve it. Yeah, the next point, rupees 3 lakhs being lost due to destruction of a machinery caused by fire due to short circuit. The insurance company did not admit the claim of the company. Now here, keeping aside whether the insurance company has admitted the claim or not, that is disputable, that is secondary. However, this is a capital loss. Therefore, you cannot claim deduction, and it is not a revenue expenditure. It is a capital loss. Therefore, you cannot claim it here. So add it back. And then the next one, rupees 5 lakhs paid to a contractor for repair work at the company's factory. No tax was deducted on such payment. This is a pretty simple and most frequently asked question. Whenever you don't deduct TDS on any payment that is being paid, okay, an amount of 30% is disallowed. So 30% of 5 lakhs, that is 30% on 1 lakh is 30,000. So 5 3 is 50, 1 lakh 50,000, you have to add it back. And then the 7th point, this is an important point. Dividend of rupees 10,000, that is 0.10 lakh from P Limited on 1,000 equity shares of 10 each purchased at 100 per share on 10/10/2019. The rate of dividend declared is 100%. The record date being 10th of December 2019. The shares were sold on 1/3/2020 at rupees 80 per share. Loss of 0.20 lakh, that is 20,000, has been debited to profit and loss account. Now, one important point, I believe section 94, when you look at it, it clearly states that whenever you purchase shares 3 months prior to the record date and you sell it 3 months after, 3 months within the record date, okay, any dividend that is received in between, that will be adjusted in case you have a loss. Okay, for instance, here you have purchased shares 3 months before the record date, and you have sold it 3 months within 3 months from the date of the record date. So you have in between, you have even received a dividend of rupees 10,000, that is 0.1 lakh. You have received a dividend, and also subsequently you have incurred a loss of 20,000. Now, as per provisions of section 94, it clearly states that the amount of dividend will be adjusted from the loss. That is, your capital loss will not be 20,000. Okay, it will be reduced, that is, it will be adjusted from the dividend that has been paid. So your net loss will be only 10,000 and not 20,000. Okay, that we'll look at it clearly in the sum. And then the 8th one, depreciation on tangible fixed assets, rupees 1.10 lakh. Okay, Now this will be added back. Okay, subsequently any amount that is I mean whatever is deductible as per income tax, that is depreciation on all the assets as per Income Tax Act, will be deducted. For now you have to add back. This is let us presume that this is as per Companies Act. Yeah, here he has given you one point here. Depreciation on tangible fixed assets as per income tax rules of 1.75 lakhs. This particular amount has to be added. I mean this has to be deducted. Okay, this 1.10 will be added back and 1.75 will be reduced. Now let us not forget the first point. Here you've got an amount of 20 lakhs. Okay, what is the depreciation rate on intangible assets? It is 25%. So an amount of 5 lakhs which constitutes the depreciation on the intangible assets also will be added to the amount of depreciation. Okay, and it will be reduced from the profit. Now here you've got your second point. The company has obtained a loan of rupees 2 lakhs from ABC Private Limited in which it holds 16% voting shares. The accumulated profits held by ABC Limited on the date of loan was 0.50 lakhs. Compute the total income of Superb Private Limited of AY 2020-21 indicating reasons for treatment of each item. Ignore provisions relating to MAT. Okay, now this provision we shall look at it while calculating the sum. Now yes, the first thing that you're supposed to calculate here is house property. He has clearly told you in the question that from letting out a part of the office, he is earning a house rent, like he let it out on rent and he is earning an amount of 6 lakhs. So this particular amount you will be taking it under house property. Now out of that particular amount you will reduce the municipal taxes. However, he has not paid anything, so that is disputable. He has mentioned it clearly that it is disputable, as a result of which he has not paid it. So you will put it as nil. You will not deduct anything. So your net annual value will be 6 lakhs, and deductions under section 24, that is standard deductions, you will reduce 30% from the net annual value. That is an amount of 1,80,000 will be reduced, resulting in 4,20,000. That this will be your net income. Okay, net income from house property. Now coming to your PGBP, he clearly says that after adjusting, your net profit as per profit and loss will be 1 crore 50 lakhs. To this you're adding license fee for obtaining franchise, because I told you this is an intangible asset and it is not an revenue expenditure. You cannot consider 20 lakhs as a revenue expenditure. Okay, now you will add back 20 lakhs. However, an amount equal to the depreciation on this particular intangible asset. Now what is the depreciation on 20 lakhs? It will come down to 5 lakhs. That is 25% of 20 lakhs is 5 lakhs. Now that particular amount is the depreciation on intangible asset, which will be further reduced subsequently. For now this amount will be added back. Now the municipal taxes in respect of let out part of the office premises. Okay, this particular amount will be added back because it has not been paid. First thing, it has not been paid. Second thing, it will not be considered under PGBP. So here it has to be added back. Contribution to approved and notified university, this is again treated separately. He has considered this amount just 2 lakhs, but actually he will get a deduction of 3 lakhs. However, this will be treated separately. So let us add this back and treat this separately under deductions. Not exactly deductions, as in it will be dealt with separately. And then loss due to destruction of machinery. This is insurance. As I told you, this is a capital loss and it cannot be treated as a revenue expenditure. And what is the fifth point? Amount paid to contractor. I told you if TDS is not deducted, the an amount of 30% shall be disallowed. So 30% on 5 lakhs will be 1,50,000, which will be added back. Short term capital loss, I already told you this. Okay, an amount of 20,000 will be added back. However, that will be dealt with again below. First add back this, because he has clearly added back the loss, but you're not supposed to do that. You have to adjust the dividend portion also, which you have received within that particular period. And then depreciation on tangible fixed assets, this is 1,10,000. This is as per Companies Act, just added back. and then what are the amounts that you are permitted to deduct. Depreciation under section 32, this is 6,75,000. Out of this 6,75,000, 1,75,000 is the amount which is to be claimed as per Income Tax Act. However, depreciation on 20 lakhs, that is coming to 5 lakhs. 25% of 20 lakhs comes to 5 lakhs. So 5 lakhs also has to be added to this 1.75 lakh, which constitutes 6.75 lakhs. So depreciation under section 32 is 6.75 lakhs. Now coming to weighted deduction under section 35 subsection 1 subclause 2, I told you when any contribution is made to an approved university, you get a weighted deduction of 150% of the contribution that you have made. Here in this particular case, the SSC has made a contribution of 2 lakhs. So 150% of 2 lakhs is 3 lakhs. So you are getting a weighted deduction of 3 lakhs here. And then coming to your rental income to be taxed under income from house property, this particular amount will be reduced here. Okay. So this amount, it will not be, since it has already been considered under PGBP, under house property, it will be reduced here. Since the SSC has considered it under PGBP, you will reduce it here and you will consider it separately under house property, which we have already done it in the first step. And then dividend credited to profit and loss account to be excluded. This particular amount of 10,000 also has to be excluded. This will be totally adjusted separately. Here in the next page we have got it. What is the loss that we have incurred? Okay, a loss of almost 20 rupees into 1000. This is not lakhs. 20 into 1000 rupees, we get around 20,000. And then dividend what you have received, this you will reduce it from your loss. And finally you will arrive at short term capital loss, which is 10,000. So when you add up all the things, your income for this particular period is 1 crore 66 lakhs 30,000. Alright, now let us look at the working notes. Rental income from letting out of a part of the office premises is taxable under income from house property, therefore has to be deducted while calculating business income and has to be credited to the profit and loss account. Alright, it has been credited to the profit and loss account. Likewise, municipal taxes due in respect of such property debited to profit and loss account has to be added back to compute business income. So you have done those two steps. Coming to franchise of rupees 20 lakhs, that is a intangible asset. Therefore, that will be added back and only 25% depreciation will be allowed. Coming to 29,000. It is paid to a transportation contractor. Therefore it is permitted since it is within the limit of 35,000. And the fourth point, it is paid to a university which is approved and notified under section 35(1) subclause 2. Therefore you are entitled to a deduction of weighted deduction of 150%. And coming to loss of 3 lakhs due to destruction of the machinery, it is very clear that it is capital in nature and it is not revenue expenditure. It is not permitted thereby. And the sixth one, payment of contractor would attract disallowance at 30%, already discussed. And the seventh point, as per section 94 subsection 7, where a person buys any shares within 3 months prior to the record date and sells such shares within 3 months after such date, and the dividend received is exempt, the loss arising shall be adjusted. This has already been discussed very clearly. Alright. And then we've got 2 more points. Depreciation as per income tax rules is deductible while calculating business income. Therefore 1.75 lakh shall be taken into consideration. And the last point which I told you, we'll mention it here. As per section 22E, any payment by a company in which public are not substantially interested by way of loan to a shareholder who is the beneficial owner of a shareholding not less than 10%. Here in our question, what is he telling you? He is holding 16%. I believe it is 16%. Just a second, let's recheck. Yeah, he is holding 16%. That is more than 10%. So here, since he is holding more than 10%, it is deemed as dividend. Dividend to the extent to which the company possesses accumulated profits. Accordingly, in this case, rupees 50,000 would be deemed as dividend under section 22 subsection 2 subsection 22 subclause E. Okay. ABC Private Limited will pay dividend distribution tax under 115O at the rate of 30%. I hope this does not require much of explanation. The point is self-explanatory. Okay, that is it for this video. In the next video, we'll cover problem number 14, 15, 16 and 17. Okay, I'll see you guys. Bye.